Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome to the 1000 Manga Read channel. Normally this would be Jump and Beer, but I dropped Shonen Jump for at least until Black Clover comes back. And about the beer part, well, my mom caught me staying up past my bedtime of 8 p.m. So now she won't give me any allowance for beer this week. So yeah, no beer this week. But we're gonna read Aliens Area. Actually, I've already read this manga in Japanese, except last time when I uploaded a Japanese reaction, the One Piece one, like my entire channel with like 4K subs got taken down. So I decided to just read it alone. And now that there's an English translation, I'm gonna read it with you guys and I'll give you my impression. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm probably gonna make some videos about some individual manga I've read that aren't like shonen later in the future. So hopefully you guys can look forward to that. But anyway, let's just read Aliens Area for now. Yeah, so the art is not bad, not good, but very stylistic and impactful at least. So it does its job. I noticed they're adding like a theme, the color theme and palette is kind of like very white, it seems. And the eyes look like they were inspired by Jujutsu Kaisen quite a bit, and the nose a bit too. Oh, and the overall first chapter reminded me of Bleach's a bit. Anyway, let me just read. Oh, he's a third year, interesting. Yeah, the facial expressions and body language is pretty good. Are pretty good. So from these designs, it's very clear that these siblings are going to play even less of a role in the story than the, siblings in Bleach. They're pretty cute though, and the pacing of the panels is not bad. Yeah, this is a good way to add some tension. Up to this point, I was pretty invested into the manga. And this is pretty cool, some nice body horror. And this guy's hairstyle is I don't know if it's bad or good, I really cannot decide. Like his design looks kind of hideous, but it's pretty memorable, I'd say. Relatively speaking. Kind of reminds me of Lucky or the other PvP like crazy designs. And yeah, this part of the story kind of reminds me of Dan Dan Dan. Um, or all these recent ones that are trying to be so not edgy but kind of comedic in a horror slash sarcastic way. I don't know how to explain that better. Uh, oh, and the whole alien concept, merging with an alien thingy kind of reminds me of Outlive from the Reborn author, and also of course Parasite. But let's see. Outer space energy. An outer space substance. Okay. Right. I mean, everyone expected this. Of course, the little siblings have to show up here. Run. So I know people always like I know stakes is a meme. Like the only people who give a shit about like stakes are people who don't really understand what stakes are. But um, here this is like I would have preferred if he at least like hit the toddlers instead of like just grabbing their heads. Like they need to die, he says, but he just grabs them and doesn't do anything. So these little details really do add or subtract from a manga. Like Kimetsu no Yaiba does all those like details very well, I would say, those little things. Like not having a guy say, "Oh, they need to die," but he's just grabbing them for 3 panels. This is a cool panel. I like that right page. Now, this was very underwhelming in my opinion because like this guy really needed to think of better. The mangaka needed to think of a cooler intro ability. Like even Doran Dororon had a cooler, like more memorable kind of ability for the main character, which is like, paired with Kusanagi and the kind of, distinctive, let's say, Doran Dororon effect, like visual effects. But as you can see here, it's literally just like Gomu Gomu no like hockey coated pistol or whatever. So it's just very unmemorable. It's as if the mangaka had an idea like, oh, what if the main character has an ability related to his arm, and then that's all he thought of. Now this, when I remember now, when I was reading the Raws, is like the worst part of the manga. You like took out this guy with like one punch, which is okay, whatever. And then this remaining guy seems like things are gonna be hyped up, but probably because the pages are running out. Like what I would have done is continue this battle so it's like a cliffhanger to the last page, or maybe like the detective shows up at the last page. But what happens here instead is like this person seems to be like charging up, like beaky beaky crick crick, the hand, and then literally it's just a slap. And there's this page is a joke. There's literally like zero impact on this page. I don't know what happened like here. Like literally this guy doesn't spend enough time thinking up abilities. I think Tabata, like Black Clover, got better at doing that after he got axed the first time. But basically like how you demonstrate abilities is actually pretty important. And this is just literally I know these are throwaway characters, but even throw like every character in Jujutsu Kaisen is a throwaway character, and yet people still read it because even the throwaway characters have some pretty cool looking abilities. And Gege put some thought into like how to make the fights interesting to read. But here you can see like even though these are throwaway characters, or especially because they're throwaway characters, this manga is just like this guy will just stand there and I won't show his attacks, and this guy will just like show his veins in his hand and like slap, and it literally and this is really hilarious. This is actually fucking hilarious because like he just gets slapped and he's like, I can't move, I got slapped, I can't move, that these little um inconsistencies really tell you the difference between like yeah, I read recently the qualifications of a man, like Otoko no Joken, like referenced by Bakuman, which also has things like, it says you have to shed every piece, every like drop of blood and sweat to ensure that your manga can be interpreted in like a realistic, let's say, way. Which doesn't mean realism is the most important thing, but I hope you get what I mean when I mention it and you see like he just gets slapped by an alien. Like this is, I know people dunked on like Lucifero's fight or like Lucifero and Black Clover was just like punching people, but like this is a whole nother level. It's like slap, oh I can't move. Like I know what the mangaka was intending, but it's kind of funny. All right, I'll start with the brats. This is a nice moment though. This is a cool panel. And the alien is literally gonna slap again. Like, what the hell? Offered by precise mechanisms. Okay. Yeah, and his late entrance, like, if he had an explanation, that would be good. Even Gojo had an explanation. Gojo's explanation was, what was it again? It was, he was buying souvenirs, and it establishes his character. But here, this guy's just like, oh, I'm actually sorry for being late, and he doesn't have a good reason. And more slapping. See, the aliens have no cool move sets. Like this would have the chapter could have been like much much better if the aliens at least had some cool attacks. Instead, we get like some, the manga equivalent of Sakuga of this guy spinning his cane. This is kind of cool conceptually, but it feels like it's one of those things where like you see the mangaka and Bakuman like talking about, oh, what cool gimmicks can we use so the little kids reading will think it's cool. And this is another like third small inconsistency I found already. Like you can make this look like a gas explosion, but like in this panel itself, it looks like the room is normal. I know that earlier, like, you know, outside it caused some like cars and whatever to like be flipped over, but in this panel you just see the clean inside of the house with like nothing wrong with it. So like he could have chosen a much better visualization of like, you know, you can make it look like a gas explosion. Foreign Affairs 5. See, this is another thing we don't need. Like, look at Chainsaw Man. We got 100 plus chapters or just under 100 chapters, I think. And like, never did we really. Oh, I guess we did have like them split into divisions, but to be fair, like, we only really introduced divisions like what, like 10 chapters in at most. Like, this 5 is extraneous. It's like what Ashihara said in World Trigger, like in the author's comments or whatever. Like, only introduce information when you need it. So we don't really need to know like this is Foreign Affairs 5. You just need to know it's Foreign Affairs. I wish like the editors in Shonen Jump were actually competent enough to like say these things to the mangaka. I do like how you know, like I said a lot, manga now these days, like nowadays, is all about spectacle instead of substance. At least before they tried to like show some kind of like strong themes or strong messages, you know, even like Hokuto no Ken had, you know, moments showing, you know, the main character's manliness, like what does it mean to be like a man and so on, whatever. Like but here, I can tell he put in effort in the writing where, like, you know, the cool light effect happens right when this guy says you should join us. But this doesn't actually mean anything. You could argue, like, oh, it's like a symbol of like the light shining on the main character. He sees the light, but that's like such a cheap symbolism or whatever that I won't even consider it. But I wish instead of spending time nowadays, I know this is what sells, I assume, like, you know, having a lot of these like random spectacles like you know this light thing paired up with this cool line, but instead of like spending so much time on these, I wish shonen authors could instead focus on like kind of the soul of the story, as in just the little details, like all those little places where there were mistakes that I mentioned before. And then and yeah, the goal is not very clear. That's the other part. That's what I mean. Like instead of focusing on, you know, the huge light shining while he says the cool line, the mangaka should instead like have been much more clear about what the story is about. Like for example, Earthchild, right? The story and the goal changes every single chapter, which for shonen is and most stories, like adult stories even, like it's a pretty bad thing. Um, but here, like, what is the goal? Like, first of all, you assume it's like possibly a revenge thing, or maybe hunt the aliens like Kimetsu no Yaiba, or because at first it's like I want to protect my siblings, but then like maybe I have to go fight aliens and leave my siblings alone. But then no, now I get paid because it's a government job, so I guess the it's gonna be like a Chainsaw Man thing, and then like after that, it's like, oh, they did biological research, so I guess the goal is to like find who did the research on me, like learn more about those aliens who like came 5 years ago, or maybe now like goal is to preserve coexistence, and this whole chapter was about fighting, and the aliens just seemed like violent, evil people. So the whole coexistence theme like doesn't really work here. Doron Dororon even did that. Shame about the sales, by the way, for Doron Dororon, like selling even lower than Earthchild. But even Doron Dororon has like coexistence, as you know, between Mononoke has a very strong theme because we have Kusanagi, right? Kusanagi and Dora, they're literally you know, the main two basically, so of course that theme makes sense. But here we just spent a chapter getting like punching a alien into cars, and then another alien like slaps us 2 times, and then the theme, or I mean the goal, is now apparently preserving coexistence. Like this whole government job thing, the whole like setting with these secret agents, whatever, like all do not really add to this coexistence thing. They could have picked a better theme, a better situation to fit this goal, or they could have chosen a different goal statement. So all in all, I'd say this is a very amateur work. The art presentation was generally good. Except there were a few funny, like dumb parts, like the slapping. The characters are decent enough to carry a manga, shonen manga, but the writing, unfortunately, is, you know, it's worse than Doron Dororon, which is saying a bit because Doron Dororon's writing was not really the best, although I do like it. But I think that's all I have to say about this for now. I've been talking for 15 minutes about one chapter, so I'd say that's about enough. And next, I think I'm gonna talk about, I mean, not in this video, but like I've been saying I'm gonna make more videos. Just been kind of busy. There's some things I've been working on the side. So if I'm gonna make more videos, maybe it'll be in like August when I'll have like some more time. I don't know, but if I do have time, I'll probably make some videos on the manga I've been reading. I've been clearing out my backlog, just like getting it very small now, and I've read a lot of great manga. I've read a lot of manga I thought were great, but were just good and that I dropped. And I read a lot of manga that were, enjoyable, but objectively not that great. And I just ended up having to like drop them because I knew that there's better things to do with my time, such as talking to my camera like this. Nah. But yeah, that's about it. Okay, make sure you smash the subscribe button. And I'm looking forward to Ruri Dragon next week, the new serialization. So look forward to my review of it next week. I'm kind of curious why the like guy who is drawing Ruri Dragon. He did like those three fighting battle shown in like one shots, but now maybe he was like, because he was like 17, 18, 19 when he did those ones, I believe. And maybe now that he's like 20, 21, whatever, he's entered the like moe moe phase. It's time to watch Hidamari sketch and like Yuri Camp and Yama no Susume and no Nombiori. Maybe he's entered that phase, so that's why he switched over to Ruri Dragon. I don't know, but we'll see. It seems if it has any similarities. I've read the one shot, but if the serialization has any similarities to Flying Witch, then I think I'll like the story very much, where it's like a kind of chill story, but the world is kind of interesting and keeps you coming back. Although I would not like it if it's like Witch Hat Atelier, because I really didn't like that series too much. But anyway, that's about it for now. Like I said, I'm gonna upload this, and please do leave some comments. Let me know what you think about this manga, about the state of Shonen Jump right now. You can just talk about random shit in your life or manga you've read lately, and I'll definitely try to reply. All right, cool. Peace out. Bye.